Hey, I'm Andre. In the past, I've spoken about CNAPP, Cloud Native Application Protection Platform, and what that means from a Microsoft perspective and what that has meant for Defender for Cloud for the past year in terms of development and new features added to it. In this video, I'd like to have a look at the portal of Defender for Cloud and what plans you need to enable in order to get it all ready for your operations with that sort of capability at the tip of your hands. All right, so let's get to it. So first things first, I would like to kick off in this image, right? So this is Microsoft Defender for Cloud's marketing slide for CNAPP. So what does CNAPP do, right? Or what does it entail? Much like I mentioned in my last video, it covers a lot more capabilities than what was previously part of the feature set. So not only does it do cloud security posture management, not only does it do cloud workload protection, it also covers the infrastructure side of capabilities, particularly around the code with DevSecOps, as you can see over here. Currently, GitHub and ADO, Azure DevOps. But it also covers and entails integration with cloud infrastructure entitlement management, CSPM platforms, which in Microsoft's feature set is called Entra Permissions Management. Great. Now, of course, within the Microsoft platform, we know that Defender for Cloud also can take in a lot more signal and send their signals, its signals, to other platforms. So that's why at the bottom, you can see here how Purview can feed data protection and data sensitivity labels back into Defender for Cloud for very cool and unique scenarios that I'm going to get into. But we can also look at external attack surface management information, so understand when there is a vulnerability in your platform that perhaps is in an open attack path, for example. Also Azure Network Security, looking at network security groups that potentially can be incorrectly configured or configured improperly. And of course, it can send back information to Sentinel. Awesome. So this is right here at the top is essentially what we can currently do here. That's all in the same portal, all in the Defender for Cloud portals. Okay, awesome. So now just going back to Azure, from the portal, let's navigate to Defender for Cloud. Of course, you can just look for the servers here at the top, or what I'd like to do is I like to pin my most utilized services on the left-hand side there. Just pinned Defender for Cloud. Now, within Defender for Cloud, naturally, you would have known or would be aware of how to enable new plans or just configure plans. All you have to do is to come into environment settings. This is the first thing we need to do, okay? So just come into environment settings. Let's verify what plans are enabled. In this particular example, I have only one subscription. I could have multiple subscriptions. So imagine you're an enterprise environment and you're managing your enterprise environment. If you're following Cloud Well-Architected Framework or Azure Well-Architected Framework, it's very likely that you have different subscriptions for different life cycles of your operations or different teams within your operations, different parts of your operations. So you need to do this for each and every subscription if you're doing this manually. Of course, there are ways to push that through code, and that's absolutely viable and recommended if you're utilizing WAF, by the way. But anyway, going back to the manual way to do this, select the desired subscription. At this point in time, we're looking at the settings of this particular subscription, and I can see here under Defender plans on the left-hand side, I can see all the plans that are enabled for this particular subscription. Now, my account is not a privileged account, it's read-only, so that's why I can only see stuff, and that's why I have this large orange banner right here. But if I were a administrator, I wouldn't see that, essentially, right? But cool, all good. So what I want to cover here is what we need in terms of features, right, to enable CNAPP capabilities. Essentially, we have two sets of capabilities. So at the very top here, we can see Cloud Security Posture Management. These are capabilities that help us monitor and, of course, assess the environment that we're dealing with, our infrastructure and everything else. This is where we can, of course, enable foundational CSPM, which you should always enable. There's no reason why not to enable. That's free plan. Enable it. You're going to get recommendations. No-brainer. Now, next to it, we get Defender CSPM. This plan was announced or was went into GA, global availability, last August 2023. And what it does, it essentially enables a lot of the capabilities that we need as operators to perform attack path analysis. It's a key capability, part of what most vendors and what most consultants and consultancies are talking about as a CNAPP. Okay, so that's very important. Defender CSPM also enables integration with common services, right? So this is very important from a automation perspective. So think about our ServiceNow integration that was just announced last month. So the ability to integrate Defender for Cloud Apps, incidents, and alerts right into ServiceNow queue. That's fundamental there and a very important feature. But it also enables the ability to maintain and assign ownership of workloads. This right here is extremely important from a proper lifecycle management perspective, right? So every workload that is created in your environment is then assigned to someone or a team, right, who's supposed to take care of that workload in case there are alerts reasoned by it. Now, what I've put on screen right now is a comparison between these two different plans. What I'm telling you is the foundational CSPM, you should absolutely have it. It enables a great set of capabilities, including Secure Score, which helps you reduce misconfiguration in your environments. But within Defender CSPM, and what I like about this documentation is Defender for Cloud is not a Azure security only platform, right? It's a multi-cloud security platform. And this right here tells us which clouds these features are available for, and that's great to know, right? Now, Defender CSPM, as you can see over here, it will also add security governance capabilities, which is the ability to assign owners of workloads that I just mentioned before, but also regulatory compliance standards. This is something that I talk a lot to my customers about because they always want to assess how their cloud infrastructure is doing against common frameworks, NIST, right, or other local, regional, particular standards, or even industry-specific standards. This is particularly important to most organizations. But what it also enables here is a range of new features that were just released last year into the platform that really make Defender for Cloud this leading CNAPP platform. Capabilities such as Cloud Security Explorer, attack path analysis, agentless scanning for machines, this is really exciting, and other capabilities here, including data-aware security posture. All of these capabilities might work independent of other plans. Okay, so that's important. These are enabled by Defender CSPM. Data-aware security posture can also be integrated to Microsoft Purview, right? So not necessarily, but if you have Purview, you will have custom data types that Defender for Cloud will import to your alerts, essentially, right? If you don't have Purview, well, it'll leverage the default set of labels that Purview contains, which is already helpful because it contains more than 100 of these data types. So that's really unique. And of course, we have permissions management in preview, which was just announced at Microsoft Ignite in November. And as you can see, they all cover multi-cloud. So great capabilities there for all our customers and all Microsoft customers. Now going back to the plans, of course, this is just one set of plans that you need to enable to get all the CNAPP features. But when we extend further and we look further into domain-specific capabilities or workload-specific capabilities, we're going to be looking at cloud workload-specific plans. Now this here is, for example, servers. I don't have time and I don't want to get into the differences of different server plans here, but look, there are two server plans. I've spoken about it, I've written about it. I'm going to pop in an image on screen right now that exemplifies what is included in each of these plans. But essentially, if you're doing servers at scale and you're doing SOC operations, it is very advantageous to have Defender Servers Plan 2, particularly because you're going to get a lot of advantages to ingest data into Sentinel, and you get a discount there, but you also get a little bit more information around your vulnerabilities within your servers, for example. We also have App Service. These are service or platform, Azure Platform Service Layer capabilities. App Service for databases plans. We also have and extend these database protection to workloads in AWS, GCP. There's also storage services, which of course protect Azure storage services, Blob, and so on and so forth, but it can also protect AWS S3 buckets and even Google storage. Okay, so and so on and so forth. Of course, naturally, if you want to get alerts for all these other data types and workloads, you should enable all of them naturally. The benefit of enabling all of them as within Defender for Cloud is, of course, not only do you get alerts for everything, you get recommendations for all of these kind of workloads, but it also gives you ability to correlate alerts between these different workloads and alerts that are popping up at the same time, perhaps too many security alerts at the same time that seem too suspicious, for example, and they can be correlated into what we call an incident. So that's a big benefit of having protecting all of your different workloads within the same cloud infrastructure, such as Defender for Cloud. Another key capability you're going to want to explore when you're deploying Defender for Cloud as your CNAPP solution is workflow automation. So you can see on screen right here is just within the settings as well. Within workflow automation, you can create logic apps within Azure that will help you deal with alerts in the platform. So you can create workflow automations for specific Defender for Cloud data types, such as security alerts, recommendations, regulatory compliance standards, and depending on the data type of Defender for Cloud, and even the compliance standard that you're looking at. For example, you can set specific logic apps. Okay, so you can create and develop different logic apps to do and perform different tasks depending on the data type that you're assigning right here. The last note I will make is, of course, email notifications. You will want to enable email notifications so that when there are specific alerts or users or, of course, workloads that are raising alerts of different types, they are notified. Right? So make sure you review the email notifications type here and you validate everything before something happens in your environment. Okay, so hopefully you found this video informative. For a future video, I intend to do a little bit of a look at the portal with these features enabled and what that looks like from your operations perspective. What can your cloud operator and cloud administrator expect to see in their portal with these features enabled, and how they can make the most out of those capabilities in terms of alerts, but also in terms of new capabilities that were added to the platform that make the most out of these features. All right, so see you next time.